Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Rural Rapport. My name is Teresa Hoffman. I'm a Senior Communications Associate here at the Center for Rural Affairs. On this episode, my guest and I will be discussing the Employee Retention Credit, a refundable tax credit for businesses that continue to pay employees while either shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic or they had significant declines in gross receipts from March 13th, 2020 to December 31st, 2021. My guest today is Omar Samaniego, a licensed financial professional based in Sioux City, Iowa. He's been assisting businesses in learning more about and applying for the credit. Omar, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on.
Before we get into the details of the Employee Retention Credit, tell me about yourself and how you've been assisting businesses with this program.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, so I am a licensed financial professional based out of Sioux City, Iowa, and I specialize in different sources, financial services, insurance services. But the big topic that we're definitely covering today is the ERC program. That's definitely a credit that a lot of business owners haven't really heard of or understood. So that's what I'm primarily focusing on right now because it is something that is ending. So I definitely want to make sure I reach as many business owners as I possibly can.
That's great. Can you give me a brief overview of the Employee Retention Credit?
Absolutely. So the Employee Retention Credit was developed to encourage the employers or business owners to retain their employees through 2020 and 2021, during the pandemic. So the eligible employees can receive a refund of up to, $5,000 per employee for 2020 and up to $7,000 per quarter of 2021. So the grand total is about $26,000 per employee for eligible business owners.
So how does a business qualify?
Great question. So there's a couple of different ways for business owners to qualify. The biggest way for most business owners that are applying for the ERC credit is if they were forced to shut down. So a good example would be restaurants. During the pandemic, a lot of restaurants were basically forced to shut down. They couldn't have their dining rooms open. They were forced to just, do takeout orders. So those businesses would automatically qualify. Another option would be for business owners that were basically they were short on supplies. They didn't have material to continue to do their business, run operations. They couldn't meet with their clients. All those reasons would also qualify for the business owners to apply for the ERC.
So what information does a business owner need to have ready before applying for the credit, whether that's going through a company like you represent or doing it on their own?
Yeah, definitely. So you definitely want to make sure you understand the components of what it takes to apply for the ERC, whether it's using a service like the one I provide, or if you want to try and do it on your own. You definitely want to know if you're eligible, because there's a lot of misconceptions that everybody is eligible, and unfortunately, that's not always the case. So you definitely want to know how you are eligible to apply, and that's why it's great to have somebody that you can call, reach out to with your questions, and then know the documentations that it's going to take for the company you decide to work with, or if you decide to do it on your own, are required. And we have all that information that has a breakdown of what documents you need. We talk to the business owners about contacting us with their CPAs, their accountants, so then we can kind of be on the same page with all the required documents that are needed.
So what are the application deadline and how long does the process take?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are two deadlines. So April 15th of 2024 is the deadline to apply for 2020. So that's the last date. Now, April 15th of 2025 is the last day to apply for the 2021 credits. So we do have a couple months left to apply for 2020 credits, but it all depends as well as how long it takes the business owners to gather all the documents. Because it's a case-by-case basis. There's no, it's going to take 2 months, 3 months. It all depends on how big the business is and how organized they are. Because we have some business owners that don't really know where their information is. Only their accountant does this or their tax professional does. So we definitely want to make sure we work with them to gather all the required information. but on average, it's taken anywhere from 3 months to up to 9 months, because it is also depending on how long the IRS is processing all the documents.
So during the pandemic, some business owners were awarded funding through the Paycheck Protection Program. How does this differ from that program? And are those businesses still eligible for the employee retention credit?
Yeah, great question. So when this all first came out, the PPP loan was basically the first program that was, most commonly used. The ERC was also available, but the ERC was a lot harder back then to qualify for. The PPP, on the other hand, was designed to help business owners keep their workforce employed. They could use that money to pay for their payroll, rent, utilities, and a lot of business owners qualify for the PPP easier than the ERC. Now they changed it where if you did receive the PPP, you are also eligible to receive the ERC. The difference is with the ERC, it's not a loan, it's a tax credit. So it doesn't have to get repaid, and you don't have to show how you're going to use that money. So if you want to use it to pay for your business expenses, for payroll, whatever the need is, that's the difference between the ERC and the PPP.
So the Internal Revenue Service advises people to carefully review the employee retention guidelines before they try to claim it, as promoters are continuing to push ineligible people to file. As with any program like this, there's the potential for scams, even for those who are eligible. What should a business look for if they are contacted by someone wanting to assist them? And are there any red flags they might look for?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is definitely something that I want to make sure business owners understand. There are a lot of, companies out there promoting the ERC, but it's always good to do your due diligence. It's good to either ask for reviews, ask for maybe, some sort of, step by step how it works. Probably the biggest thing I always talk to business owners is if you get called unsolicited by, business that says that they can help you with the ERC, always double check, like, okay, do you have a fee? Because sometimes these companies that might, try and help the business owners, they require an upfront fee. And, same thing, you're basically paying a company that you don't really know the background or how it's structured. It's always good to kind of know how they're going to be, charging you, because, each business that helps the business owners is going to have a fee. So, for example, they call and say, hey, we'll help you with the ERC program, but we have an upfront fee of $5,000. Well, that, should be a red flag because you haven't gotten anything back yet. You don't know the process. So you definitely want to do your due diligence, check with, other business owners, see if they know any other service that they can rely on. And it's always good to just, call and just verify with the IRS if, they've had any issues with this certain company.
So definitely do your homework, like
Absolutely.
anything like this. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, Omar, thanks again for joining me to talk about the employee retention credit. For our audience, I've included more information in the comments section, some links there. Thank you for joining us today for the Rural Rapport. If you'd like to learn more about the center, visit our website at cfra.org.